Look, I'm not going to sit here and pile up on Ja Morant because practically the whole world is doing it, but this does give off a disturbing trend that's been repeated for ages. There's a lot of guys out there that want to play street when they really come from the suburbs, but there are some athletes out there that did live a double life. Let me introduce you to York Star Karlton Hines. Hines was a highly talented basketball player from South Bronx, New York, and he was even talented enough to receive a scholarship from Syracuse. Jim Boeheim himself even went to the projects in order to see him play. However, Hines turned down the offer.
I told him that it would be best for him to get out of New York.
He knew he wasn't going to make it in public school, so he went to Maine Central.
They realized you take him out of the environment that he was around, that if you put him in a different environment, he can excel.
Syracuse had the biggest gym Karlton Hines had ever seen, the Carrier Dome. This was progress. He made a verbal commitment to the Orange in June of his junior year. South Bronx was going to be in his rearview mirror. This was the final pit stop before the NBA. There was only one slight condition. He had to finish high school.
For many kids that grew up in the 80s and 90s in NYC, there were many obstacles to navigate through. South Bronx at that time was a complete war zone filled with gangs, drugs, and violence, which was at an all-time high. As the notorious B.I.G. said, either you were selling crack rock or you had a wicked jump shot. Hines had both. He was already making $200K a day being in the streets, and he was known for dabbling in both sports and that hustle lifestyle. Standing at 6'5", he was known for being one of the biggest muscles in the city, and he developed a fearsome reputation. He even spent time in jail. Despite doing all this, he was still able to average 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds for his high school, packing out every single game. Sadly, he dropped out of high school and declined to go to college. Here we have a player with God-given talent, but unfortunately, he didn't have the right people around him in order to guide him through. Why am I making this parallel between Ja Morant and his high school star? Well, it's quite simple. To give the perception of what could happen if you really dabble in the streets and try to be a sports star at the same time. The lifestyle that comes with being in the streets, it leaves no prisoners. Hines later tried to make a comeback to basketball and planned to try out for the Westchester Stallions of the United States Basketball League, but unfortunately, life had other plans. He was shot and killed in the streets of New York in April of 1994. And the eeriest part about this, he died at the same age Ja Morant is now.